help the elderly?
I guess problems. Studying psychology.
What's going on? Oh, great!
We are going to talk show with you, Professor. Hello. Are you guys ready for the talk show?
We're just a bit worried that, like, for the questions that we wrote down to ask him, that it might not take up the full hour.
Yeah, I think we might get a little bit, like, nervous or awkward.
I mean, we did rehearse, but, like, I mean, the real thing is gonna seem much more, like, a little bit daunting, right? I mean, there were 6 cameras on set, so. But yeah, I mean, we're gonna figure it out real soon, and I don't know, I'm also kind of excited.
Okay.
All right, we're gonna get going to interview Professor Dustin for the F&MAD Film Festival. All right, wish us luck. All right, let's get going.
Hello, everyone.
Hey guys, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. Welcome to the UAC talk show.
Yes.
Can we get a round of applause? It's your boy, Joseph.
Selena.
And we have a special guest, Professor Dustin.
Everyone, give another round of applause. Okay, are you guys excited? Yes. Let's hear it louder.
Yeah!
Thank you, everyone. Okay, shall we get started?
Sure.
Okay. So the theme of this talk show is actually around the F&MAD department and also the film festival. So let's actually kick it off with the film festival. Can you tell us what the film festival is and what your role is in it?
So F&MAD Film Festival, originally it was in University of Utah. It was one that came out in the fall. And so back in 2020, we started talking about having one here. So we started to create a fall festival here. Of course, COVID prevented it having anything live. So the first year we did it in 2021 was actually a kind of a live streaming event that we just uploaded the whole thing to YouTube and we watched it online. And then in 2022, we decided to start doing the more public ones. We actually skipped a year, and then we had one spring of 23 and spring of 24. The idea of moving to spring was so that we could have more happy spring weather, blossoms, things like that. So, and it gave us some time to prepare for it as well. And as far as my role, I was part of organizing just the actual video upload and the awards portion. So I'm sort of the festival director. I help with getting the submissions done and preparing the actual screening at Megabox and the awards, everything like that.
Kind of similar to that question, but did you have a film that was your favorite from this semester's?
Well, if I name a favorite, we can start a student revolt. But no, there's films that when you're a teacher, you start to get attached to, and you also root for them to have a certain result. So I had kind of a double thing happened this festival. I had one film that I was rooting for that didn't get into the festival, and it was really close to getting in but didn't. And it's a really nice film. It's about kind of the subject of grief, and it was done in my directing class. But there was another film in my directing class called The Present that was made. That was one that I immediately saw as a really charming film, and it didn't necessarily win a lot of awards, but I really felt happy whenever someone came and told me they liked that film, and so I often would pass that to the director. I think a lot of students don't know how good they are in a lot of cases, so I think this was when you don't get into a festival or maybe don't get an award, you start to judge your work. But so many times in the festival there's films that people said there was their favorite that didn't win awards, but other people like them, and so it's nice when students can hear about that.
Kind of on like the side note, what does a typical day in the life look like for you as a professor?
It's probably not a model one. I wake up, 5:36, probably take too long getting ready to leave, and then go to work, get to work between 8 and 9. And then I try to get some things done in the morning, have some casual meetings, things like that. And then usually around 11, it's when a lot of people start showing up. Students, different people, and there's often events and meetings at noon. And then this semester, all my classes in the afternoon, so there's always a period between about 1 and 3 when my stress level goes really high, because there's last bits of preparation before a class you need to do, and then there's always whenever you're in that last minute preparation, there's always the interruptions that come. It's almost like they know you're stressed out. And then the evening is a bit of a wrap-up kind of social times. That's my day. That's not a typical. I'm not sure about other people's typical.
And it might be a little bit off topic, but I mean, you're quite well known for liking your, drinks with gongcha, right?
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of FMA students, whenever they stop by your office, they always see at least one or maybe like two, but like one's like half empty, like one's entirely.
Well, that's the old one.
Oh, that's the old one. Right. You gotta get the new fresh one, right? You want to like make a statement about like your favorite gongcha drink so that everyone can just watch this video and understand with that.
Well, some people already know it. Yeah, it's really boring. It's the most boring drink ever because it's jasmine milk tea with no sugar and full ice because I'm super American. Pretty boring. Don't recommend it.
When students are making their own films, how do you encourage them to express their own creativity?
As far as how I encourage students, I think often if a student has an idea and I'm hearing it, there's a mix between trying to encourage them towards certain narrative conventions to make sure the story's coming out. But if I see a student standing on their ground about something that they want to try that I don't quite understand, I've learned from experience to say, yeah, go ahead and do it. Because usually that turns out to be something I never could have imagined, and it turns out really great. So that's something I also try to do is just let them go for it, because it might surprise you what comes out. I also tell my students another thing is that problems make your film better. And there's one film 2 years ago that I really love that was a good example of that because it was a film called A Dream of Lettuce. It was in our festival 2 years ago. And the filmmaker had a very weird problem happen. I'm not going to talk about the problem. But it was something that closed down their shoot completely. They could not work with the same actors anymore, and they couldn't go out to the location. Like everything was shut down. And so they were really like, what do we do? And I was like, well, you could recast, you reshoot. But she went with her friend and they went and filmed this whole other sequence about two people being sad about their film falling apart and having a conversation about it and doing these cool cutaway moments of carrying their props around and burying them.
아, 언니 로케는 찾았어?
연말이라 예약 꽉 찼대.
아, 그럼 상추는 어떡해?
아!
언니도 상추 이야기 가망 없는 거 알잖아. 보내주는 거야. 가망 없는 거 붙잡고 있어도 좋을 거 없잖아. 상추도 어차피 시든 마당에.
상추가 너한테 완벽한 엔딩을 원한 건 아니잖아. 그냥 죽이 되든 밥이 되든 같이 있기만 하면 되는 거 아니야?
가자.
저절로 눈이 떠졌을 때.
And it was really beautiful and it was really cool looking and funny. And people liked that movie, And her solution was a way to made the film really creative, I thought.
I think that's really amazing. How to like turn it 180.
I feel like it's really cool when like artists take like the opportunities that lie in problems like that, especially when it's so like sudden, and they create it into something bigger.
Yeah, problems are really helpful for creativity. Yeah.
Are you okay with students skipping class to watch a movie for inspiration?
Well, I've never had a student ask me that question, and I probably would look at their face really closely to see if they were sort of laughing while they said it, to trying to get away with something.
If you had $1 million to fund the film department at UAC, how would you use it?
I would steal it and fly away. No, it's a really fun question. I don't necessarily think it would be all about equipment stuff. I would probably get the equipment I'm already planning on getting, just a certain level where students could build a foundation and then have at least a couple of professional grade cameras that they could shoot that film that goes to the festival. Beyond that, I think it would be finding a way that we could have a fund to pay actors. But yeah, I think more scholarships, more funds to support film projects, just to, not to make them big budget, but just to make them a little more that you can, because I think the thing that changes an amateur work to a professional work is this word we teach called verisimilitude, and it's the believability of the environment. And if you're shooting like a detective story, but you're shooting it in your professor's office, no one's going to believe it's a detective story. So that kind of money could help support maybe a little more production value and free Gong Cha on Fridays. Okay.
Getting into like a more personal filmmaking level, what is your favorite film?
Does the audience know my favorite film? Sometimes I tell people that. It's called A River Runs Through It. It was directed by Robert Redford. It's set in Montana, filmed in Montana, I believe, and near Missoula. And it's actually an adaptation of a novel, but in a lot of ways the movie is better than the novel, and in some ways. Actually, no, I wouldn't say that. I would just say it's a really good adaptation because it made choices to adapt to film and made the right choices for a film. Yeah. Yeah,
would you say that you left the theater feeling kind of happy about it, or was it more heavy film?
I've never watched that film in the theater.
Oh.
I watched that film for the first time at my house with my stepfather and mother. They were watching it, and I saw it, and I thought it was incredible. And I go back to it and watch it. And it's different than usually the genre I like, because it's a really kind of quiet family drama, but it's just really beautiful. So if you guys have a chance to see it, watch it with your family. Yeah.
And our very last question. What advice do you have for our graduating students?
I think you need to think about where do you want to go, what do you want to do next, and what do you ultimately want to do maybe in the future, because this whole game of professional life is about connections. One thing leads to another thing, and you don't really know how it's going to work out. I think people look often for a conventional way of, I'm going to go to school and then I'm going to go get an internship and then I'm going to get a job and then I'll have that job forever. It's just not the way things really work. Sometimes your careers come from really surprising places, Like I didn't know I wanted to teach film until I was in Taiwan teaching English, and I just, because I was bored with our content, had my students make video projects. And the video project they made was so inspiring that I said, oh my God, I want to do this, And so that happened from just living and trying things. But I do think location matters. I think knowing where you want to live, why you want to live there, or where you want to travel to next might be a good motivation for making a decision at first, and then maybe make a decision to go to that place, because once you're in that place, you then can build the relationships that can form your professional life in some ways.
I think that's really good advice.
All right, well, that's a wrap. Thank you guys for tuning in.
Thank you so much for sitting with us.
Can we get a round of applause for Dustin? Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and we'll see you guys on the next one.
Stay tuned to watch.
Our proud hostess. How was the talk show?
Yeah, took a while. It took about an hour for us to finish off the interview. It was also a lot of fun. I think Professor Dustin really took his time to answer the questions really well.
Yeah, I think it went really well.
Yeah. Surprisingly, the question that Selena wrote down, it fit pretty well within the time frame we were expecting it to. So that's a big plus. I'm really glad that the crowd was also trying their best to be responsive. Overall, I really enjoyed it, so.
Yeah, I think it was a good experience. Like, the crowd was, like, when we asked them for feedback or involvement, they gave it to us, and it was very nice.
So this is our last episode. How do you guys feel about that?
Crazy.
So sad.
I feel like time passed by so quickly. I mean, I don't know. I feel like this season was quite big, and I don't know what to expect for season 3, but I hope you guys keep watching and enjoy season 2. We hope you guys can watch it until season 3 and stay tuned for more to come. And press like,
subscribe,
and comment down below what you'd like to see in the next video. And we'll see you guys
in
the next one.
Season 3.
Season 3. Hey, roll it over.
Bye.
Bye-bye.